What do you think?
I think I need to have another glass of water. Everybody, welcome to Warm Ones. I'm your host, School Superintendent Thomas Taylor from Stafford County Public Schools, and this is our first ever episode of Warm Ones, which is our take on the popular YouTube TV show Hot Ones, where we ask warm but interesting questions and we couple that with spicy chicken wings. Joining me today are student correspondents from various school newspapers in Stafford County. And at this time, I'd like them to introduce themselves, and we'll start with Robert.
Robert Baldwin from Mountain View High School. I'm 12th grade, and really just here to have some hot wings, you know?
I am Mia Easley from Mountain View High School. I'm a junior, and I don't think I'm gonna make it very far.
Hi, I'm Jackson Messer. I'm in 9th grade, and I write about music for North Stafford High School.
I'm Madison Martin. I'm from Brook Point, and I'm in 10th grade.
Hi, my name is Will Hageman. I'm at Colonial Forge High School and I'm a senior.
I'm Sylvia Janala and I'm a junior at Colonial Forge High School.
Hi, I'm Eric Stanley. I'm from Stafford High School. I'm a senior.
Hi, I'm Michael Kamar and I'm a sophomore at Brook Point.
One of the best parts about this is really just an opportunity for you guys to connect with one another. You have a shared interest in being in journalism in high school and in Stafford County, and this is just a great chance for you guys to connect with one another and also to learn a little bit about each other's schools and the school system. So thank you for joining me. And thank you for being a part of our first ever episode of Warm Ones. Are we ready to begin? It's the green one. Any tasting notes? Thoughts? Pretty good? Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
So based on your experience, what sets Stafford County schools apart from other schools and other counties, and what made you want to work with Stafford County Public Schools?
Well, I've been in Stafford County now for exactly 1 year. And I chose to come to Stafford County because Stafford County is a growing community. It also has a lot going for it. It's a community that has tried a lot of things very successfully in the academic space and has a rich history of success, but it's also a community that has a lot of room for growth. And there's a lot of things that I know that we could do a little bit better and a little bit differently. And I wanted to be in a place that I know I could be happy with my family for a really long period of time. I grew up in the DC area, and so getting closer to the DC area was really important to me so that I could be closer to family, and this is just an awesome community. All right, we ready for this guy? Okay. This one had a lot more flavor and a lot more spice.
When you first became superintendent, what were your goals, and did you accomplish those goals, or are there still goals that you are aiming to achieve?
Well, the first change is that I would like to stop sweating. And I think that that's a fair request. I've only been in Stafford County a year, and I'd say probably my first goal of being a superintendent in Stafford was to try to bring this community together. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the world is kind of a pretty crazy place these days, right? And it's a pretty fractured place, but we have a lot more in common as a society than we have that separates us. And so I really wanted to try to find ways that we could become a more tight-knit community and bring folks together. In terms of goals and some things that I'd like to see in the future, I think that we could do a much better job in terms of providing a variety of programs in high schools that lead to some great career opportunities. And I think that there's a lot of unexplored territory, and there's a lot of things that we could maybe do a little bit differently.
I would agree with that. And on a follow-up, 4 years' time from now, do you still see yourself in Stafford County Public Schools? And if so, where specifically do you see this whole genre of education going?
First things first, I did take a sip, so I am the first one to buckle. And I'm also going for the dab, the sip and the dab. So don't feel like you're wimping out if you have to go for the water. I certainly hope that I'm in Stafford County. Stafford County is a great place to live, work, and learn. And I think that one of the things that we can expect in the future is that we are always going to need teachers, and we're always going to need schools. And we're going to need to have those be really great places if we expect our community to thrive. Perfect world, where I expect to see us in like 4 years, we're graduating kids from the schools that you guys go to, and we're graduating kids from a 6th high school.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert, right? In programs that really help prepare them to be really successful in life. All right, you guys ready for the next one?
Yes.
It's kind of got that sweet heat. It is really hot, isn't it?
It's really hot, it is.
Yeah. I think the heat, it's kicking up a notch, isn't it? Yeah. Woo!
With an increase of parental involvement in schools, how can you assure the student body that the county is still looking after their interests?
I think it's really important for student voice to be heard across the board in Stafford County. There's a couple of things that I've done a little bit differently since I've gotten here. There are 4 people at each of your schools that we meet with me every month. Gosh, I'm getting tongue-tied already. That meet with me every month as a superintendent's advisory committee, and they talk about things that are pressing issues for students in Stafford County. But I also think it's important for you as journalists to have open access to your leaders in your school system and be able to ask questions of them so that I almost did it, I almost touched my face. And be able to ask questions and get answers to those questions. Did you guys know that any citizen in Stafford County can propose a policy for the school board to consider? It's true. And that includes you. Another big thing is that the school board, for the very first time, is having a student member be added to the school board in the next year. A junior is going to be selected to sit on the school board next year, and that's going to be pretty exciting.
On a follow-up to that, how can we better incorporate student, staff, and parent opinions/experiences into the policymaking and changing process?
I think that we could do a better job of getting feedback from you guys in terms of like surveys, and also getting written responses and emails from you guys when you are feeling passionate about something that's important to you, making sure that comes across in your writing. So each one of you expressed that you had an interest in writing and give voice to a lot of different people in your school so that the adults that are in your school system hear from the students.
Why do you think Stafford needs a 6th high school, and why now?
I don't know if you guys have noticed how many people are in the hallways at your high school, but it gets pretty crowded. We tried something a little different this year where you have a 1-hour lunch period, and that's at every one of your schools that you have this 1-hour lunch period, but it's crowded, and we're a growing community. The last time that we built a school to accommodate for growth was 2008. It was like 14 years ago. So we've got about 31,000 students in Stafford County schools right now, but over the next 10 years, that's gonna be like 36,000 kids. So we absolutely need to build new schools to accommodate for growth. I gotta tell you guys, I'm gonna take a very, very little bite of this one. This is getting a little over the top. I'm trying not to let it touch my lips. Because so that was for real, like legitimately hot. I don't know about you guys.
I want to try to regain myself here.
I'm with you.
All right. So, what are your plans to address the overpopulation in the high schools while the new school is being built?
In high schools, there's a lot of things that we can do that we can't do in elementary schools to accommodate for growth. In elementary schools, the students don't move around a whole lot. The tricky part with elementary schools is the only way to accommodate for growth in elementary schools is to add portable classrooms or trailers. That gets a little bit tricky. Guys, I'm going for a little bit of refreshment here. It was really hot. Woo! High schools, on the other hand, there's a lot of space that's not used during the day. You can collapse some of that space by using unused planning period classroom space if you need to. That's not our preference. That's not something that we want to do. And if we hurry up and start construction now, we can avoid that. But if we wait any longer, we'll be in a real pinch and we'll need to start thinking about how we might use the space a little bit differently. This was so hot. I don't know how to tell you. It really is so hot.
What do you see as our county's current largest struggles, and how do you propose we address them?
Our biggest struggle right now has to do with making sure that we can accommodate the growth that we have in Stafford County Public Schools. We're growing very, very fast, and it does require us to make sure that we have enough space and enough school buildings and enough classrooms to accommodate for growth. The second one that's kind of married to that is that we also need to make sure that we have enough resources to make sure we have a teacher in that classroom and that we have adequate support staff to make sure that you guys can get the education that you want.
What changes would you like to see in Stafford County Schools? What changes do you think students, staff, and parents would like to see in Stafford County Public Schools?
Well, I think that parents, students, and staff would like to see adequate support for their classrooms, that you have enough teachers in your school, that there's low teacher turnover, which means that they're compensated really well, and that there's enough space and enough resources so that everyone can do their job. All right, don't overdo it, guys. Yeah, do a dip. Gosh, for crying out loud, do a dip. Okay, that is over the top.
I'm regretting this.
Yeah, me too, a little bit. This sounded like a really great idea when we were thinking about it, but now in like execution at the last wing, it's kind of gone off the rails, not gonna lie.
Imagine you're at a baseball game and you're up next to bat. What would your walkout song be?
Still Dre by Dr. Dre. I mean, because it's a great song and it's got that great like piano beat going up, right? Right? I think that works. Very good.
First, initially going into your career, what were your first thoughts on the position of superintendent? Did they align with the reality of the career that you currently have, or was anything different from that? What you expected?
Well, I was a social studies teacher, and I also was a coach, and I also did student government. And for a very, very short period of time, I also worked with student publications, because that was a lot of fun. We never did anything like this, which is probably a good thing, but it was a lot of fun. And I actually never met a school superintendent for like the first 6 or 7 years of my career in education, and had no idea what a school superintendent did. And I will say I've got like one of the coolest parts of my job is that when it snows, I get to cancel school. Not gonna lie, that's legit. So some parts lined up with what I thought that the job entailed, and then other parts obviously were a little bit of a surprise. This is just being goofy and having a little bit of fun and having an opportunity to hang out and talk to you guys and hear from you. But it's a lot of making sure that teachers get paid, that we have enough resources to keep the lights on, that we make sure that the buses are running on time or more on time than they did last year. That's really where the job is, and I'm glad to do it, and I find it really challenging, but also really rewarding too.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you want to live and why?
Stafford, Virginia. No, Washington, D.C. I feel like it's the center of the world. I love Washington, D.C. I grew up in Washington, D.C. And so Washington, D.C., yeah, don't touch anything. It's alarming. So Washington, D.C., and it's mainly because I grew up there. I love it. I'm familiar with it. I also think there's so much to see and do.
If you weren't a superintendent, what other profession would you choose?
I would probably be a banker. Even though I was a social studies teacher, and I love being a social studies teacher, I had no idea that I liked math until I got to do math every day. And you know how your teachers are like, you're gonna use this when you grow up. They're right. So weirdly enough, I use algebra every single day of my life, and I never thought that I would like it. And I certainly didn't like it when I was in school, but growing up and seeing how all of it is connected and how things are related to one another, very awesome, very exciting. I would probably do something in mathematics or something in accounting.
What's going to be the name and mascot of the new high school?
I gotta tell you, I've got a mascot suggestion, and it's kind of got a story attached to it. I think it should be the long-eared bats. And let me tell you why. So
you should tell us why.
We just started construction of the new high school zone, and we're trying to clear the new high school zone, except that there's a little bit of a problem. There's a bunch of trees on the property. So what do you need to do?
Cut them down.
You cut them down, and you make sure that it's sourced responsibly and it's sold for lumber, and you do that in a very responsible way so that the trees don't go to waste. But there are typically things that live in trees, right? Well, we have an inhabitant in Stafford County called the northern long-eared bat. And so the northern long-eared bat was an inhabitant of that property before we started cutting down some trees. So that's my pick. I want to give one last opportunity before we close out. If there's anything that you want to say to the camera, or if you have any plans for your future that you want to share, this is the opportunity.
Drop a follow down below, boys. Support you guys' YouTube channel. No, no, I just really thoroughly enjoyed this. Even though my throat is on fire currently, and I'm not going to sleep very well after this. It was a great discussion with everyone, and I just enjoyed it, honestly.
I'm like currently shivering a lot because of like the cold water and the hot food. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really liked the chicken. It was very yummy.
Any plans for the future?
Like something journalism, editorial related, I guess.
Awesome.
I just want to say I really enjoyed it. Maybe my mouth and nose didn't, but you know, it was an enjoyable experience, and I can't wait to keep listening and discovering and talking about music in the future.
Thank you.
Definitely very grateful to have an experience like where we get to test our skills and grow them further and stuff.
So we tested your skills under pressure, too. Great job.
I really appreciated being here for as long as I did. Yep, not appreciative of my GPS. But yeah, it was really cool. I wish I could have had the entire time to listen to your thoughts, and I hopefully will not have as much trouble sleeping as you guys will because of the heat. Yeah, thanks.
I'm very grateful to have been given this opportunity to come out here and do this, and I can't wait for episode 2.
Very good.
My mouth hurts so bad, and I took like the tiniest bites. But for my future, I do hope to follow a teacher career path.
Awesome.
I never thought I'd be saying this, but my eyes are burning now. Yeah, it was really nice being here and stuff, and I love wings, and I hope in the future I get into NFL journalism, some kind of football journalism, and I run a podcast now. It's called Inside the Play if you want to check it out.
Very good. Link in bio, yeah.
I don't really have much to say, but thank you for being here, and thank you to the staff and stuff, and Ms. McCool, my teacher, and everybody else. Yeah.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to the Grounds Bistro and Cafe for hosting us today in Stafford County. This has been our first episode of Warm Ones. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Chef. That was legit.